Hey everyone, I'm Bradley and welcome to Zlangle. The mighty Thor is a major character in both the comic books and the movies of the Avengers, but it seems like the MCU Chris Hemsworth version slides up and down on the popularity scale a bit. When the first Avengers film came out, it seemed like he was way above Captain America.
Captain America, no one's favorite character, who just kinda has to be there.
And that was reflected by the box office of their respective solo films. Even on the poster, Cap is way in the back while Tony and Thor are near the front. And in response, Marvel greenlit and released the next Thor movie before they got around to the second Captain America movie. But of course, after Winter Soldier, it all changed. And it seemed like Thor was now everyone's least favorite Avenger. It wasn't until 2017 that he got his third film, in which Taika Waititi totally revamped the style, direction, and attitude of both Thor and the world he and Asgard inhabited. It went from this
Can't kill an entire race.
To this.
You ready for another bout?
To this. To this.
That's what.
So it's an understatement to say that he has changed quite a bit since Kenneth Branagh, Professor Lockhart for all you Potterheads out there, brought this awesome character to the big screen. But the arc he went through between the films Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity War is an interesting one, and I wanted to make this video to really break down my thoughts and opinions on what Marvel has been doing to Thor in the MCU. Since near the beginning of Ragnarok, Thor has lost a lot, and it's expressed perfectly in this scene in Infinity War, with Thor talking to Rocket Raccoon. It's an incredible scene, and it's one of my favorites of the film. Well, let's break down how each loss affected our dear Thor. Now, before Infinity War, he had a good deal of losses during the events of Ragnarok, most notably when Hela destroys Mjolnir.
It's not possible.
That took a heavy toll on him, and he had to come to terms with that by the end of the film.
So much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh.
I really wish I had my hammer.
Your hammer?
Quite unique. It was made from this special metal from the heart of a dying star. And when I spun it really, really fast, it gave me the ability to fly. And every time I threw it, it would always come back to me.
Sounds like you had a pretty special and intimate relationship with this hammer, and that losing it was almost comparable to losing a loved one.
It's a nice way of putting it.
Without my hammer, I can't.
Are you Thor, the god of hammers?
My hammer. It's truly awesome.
But also, in Thor Ragnarok, his best friends, all of the Warriors 3, were slain by Hela.
Who are you? What have you done with Thor?
I'm Hela.
We would deal with this.
Sorry to hear that Jane dumped you.
It is also revealed to the audience that Jane Foster dumped him.
She didn't dump me, you know. This is a mutual dumping.
Okay, it was more of a mutual dumping. But he also lost an eye. And even though it was sort of fixed in Infinity War by Rocket Raccoon giving him a new bionic eye, it was probably still traumatizing for him to temporarily lose a battle in such a dramatic fashion. But possibly the most painful loss Thor suffered in Ragnarok actually carried over to the beginning of Avengers Infinity War, the loss of Asgard. And most of its inhabitants. He finally became king of Asgard, something he had desired, or at the very least knew would happen, since our first look at him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now that the responsibility was placed solely upon his shoulders, after just being forced to cause Ragnarok, the end of Asgard himself, he also couldn't even stop Thanos from coming and murdering half of the remaining Asgardians who were under his protection. Now let's get back to that scene with him and Rocket to delve into what else Thor has been through.
So dead brother, huh? Yeah, it could be annoying.
Well, he's been dead before. You know, this time I think it really might be true.
Loki is an interesting one, because his and Thor's relationship is so complicated. Loki is the adopted son of Odin, who, even when he didn't know that, he always felt less loved and appreciated than Thor.
I only ever wanted to be your equal. We were raised together. We played together. We fought together. Do you remember none of that?
I remember a shadow. Living in the shade of your greatness. I remember you tossing me into an abyss. I who was and should be king.
But even when Loki has betrayed him time and time again, Thor always has a tiny part of him that hopes Loki will change, until he realizes that's just who Loki is.
At the end of the day, you're you and I'm me. I know maybe there's still good in you, but let's be honest, our paths diverged a long time ago. Yeah, brother, becoming predictable. I trust you. You betray me round and round in circles we go. See, Loki, life is about growth. It's about change. But you seem to just want to stay the same. You'll always be the god of mischief.
Loki has apparently died in front of Thor multiple times, leading Thor to never be too surprised when Loki turns up again.
Oh shit.
But when Thanos kills him, and Loki's corpse is lying there, lifeless, the realization hits Thor that there may be
no resurrections this time.
And you said your sister and your dad.
Both dead.
his sister he didn't even know he had until Ragnarok.
You must be Hela. I'm Thor, son of Odin.
Really?
So having to kill her, knowing that she was his own sister, wasn't as much of a traumatizing casualty as it was more of a severe inconvenience that they were unfortunately related. Odin, on the other hand, that was a big deal to Thor. He was his wise old father, who, even though he often disagreed with him,
And you are an old man and a fool!
he knew that Odin was probably right in the end, and hey, he was his dad after all.
You've already made me proud.
But still got a mom, though?
Killed by a dark elf.
His mother, Frigga, sacrificed herself to protect his girlfriend Jane, who he brought to Asgard.
Best friend?
Stabbed through the heart.
He is, of course, referring to Heimdall, who Thor saw die just earlier in the film.
You sure you're up to this particular murder mission?
Absolutely. No rage and vengeance, anger, loss, regret, they're all tremendous motivators. They really clear the mind, so I'm good to go.
This is it. This is where we see Thor, with no parent to get him out of trouble like in the past. No friends or allies to rally together and go save the day with.
My friends, have you forgotten all that we have done together?
No romantic interest left to save, no home to go home to. We have finally seen the arrogant, spoiled, conceited, epically powered god of royal blood who had it all become a man. Not in the sense of being manly, but that he was brought down to human level. He now understands what it's like to be one of the types of people he has dedicated his life to protect. He now understands loss. But not only that, this new Thor, this Thor has nothing left but vengeance.
You're going to die for that! Bring me Thanos!
Yeah, but, I mean, this Thanos we're talking about, he's the toughest there is.
Well, he's never fought me.
Yeah, he has.
Never fought me twice. And I'm getting a new hammer, don't forget.
Well, it better be some hammer.
You know, I'm 1,500 years old. I've killed twice as many enemies as that, and every one of them would have rather killed me, but none succeeded. I'm only alive because fate wants me alive. Thanos is just the latest in a long line of bastards, and he'll be the latest to feel my vengeance. Fate wills it so.
But he even failed at that.
You should have gone for the head.
And what if you're wrong?
Well, if I'm wrong, then what more could I lose? What did you do? What did you do?
Thor has come a long way from
I make grave mistakes all the time. Everything seems to work out.
to
What more could I lose?
this newfound depletion of any past support systems he had even led him to being willing to possibly die in order to secure a new weapon to kill Thanos. Now, whether Thor did this out of a desperate need to stop Thanos from what he was trying to accomplish, or to merely murder him out of pure vengeance, or some combination of the two, I'm not entirely sure.
I told you. You die for that.
I'm assuming we'll see more of where his mind is at in Avengers 4. Speaking of which, I don't know what will happen in Endgame. We'll be finding out soon. But even if some of the things that Thor lost gets returned or fixed, like I personally guess Asgard or possibly his hammer, I think these events will still have a lasting impact on Thor for the rest of his life. Thanks to Odin in the first film, he learned humility and curbed his hubris. But after Ragnarok and Infinity War, he learned that nobody is invincible. Not even a 1,500-year-old god of thunder. Nuff said, and Excelsior.
Thank you for your help. I sense a great change in your future, Thor. Change you can neither control nor avoid. And you've chosen many paths in your life, but now only one remains. Destiny has dire plans for you, my friend.